Flower, this guy.
Probably one of the best players in the world.
He is literally able to play every hero to its full extent.
He just decimates people.
Flower is incredibly aggressive and not afraid to take fights with the very best.
I mean, I really don't know what he can't do.
Get so many of those. Oh, three-man riptire from Flower.
Flower is the biggest all-rounder Overwatch has.
He has this enormous hero pool to draw from, and he can make game-changing plays on each of these heroes.
He's just this really versatile player with insane mechanics.
This guy could play anything and just be a god at it.
지켜봐야 될 것 같은데 그중에 좀 유독 눈에 띌 것 같은 선수는 제가 봤을 때는 플라워 선수. 근데 이제 모든 영웅을 기용하면서 아마 많이 사람들이 열광을 하게.
Right now, Flower with the barrage. Oh boy! Comes in from behind and he takes out two before.
So many different tricks up his sleeve.
He's very excited about his Junkrat specifically.
His Junkrat was amazing, and he was preaching to everyone that he had this crazy Junkrat strat, and that Junkrat is viable now.
데미지가 굉장히 세요. 그리고 기동력이 나쁜 것도 아니에요. 그리고 지금 유행하는 돌진 메타, 다이브 메타를 상쇄시킬 수 있는 그런 이 중요하죠. 예. 한 나라를 대표하는 자리에서 우승한다는 건 좀 많이 연습해줬으면 좋겠습니다.
Welcome back, everyone, to the desk here as we get ready for our second semi-final matchup to determine who will face off against the Canadians in our gold medal game. I'm Golden Boy, joined by my partner in crime, Jameson, and now this is just getting ridiculous at this point, but it is Achilleos here.
How's it going? Glad to be back here on the desk. You know, I'm just getting prepared for dinner. I have my bib, my fork, and my knife. I'm ready to dine into some fantastic French cuisine, Golden Boy. It's going to be a wonderful meal for South Korea.
You know, that sounds very violent. I don't know. I like. It's
they're going to be devoured.
It's.
In fact, you know, I don't really need this bib. I think it's going to be pretty clean at the end of the day. 3-0 to South Korea. If I can actually get this damn thing off my neck.
You practiced it so well. Clearly.
I did. I threw this all together in like 10 seconds before I walked on the desk. There we go.
James, do you have anything to add at that point? Because I don't think anyone can, but.
I mean, he's saying it's going to be a clean 3-0, but we saw it was anything but yesterday in their matchup against Team USA, and they did expose some of the weaknesses on the side of South Korea. We got to see Jake with that Junkrat be able to play such a disruptive style, especially using those concussive mines to really move around the tank line of South Korea and not allow Sebilby to really go off on that Tracer. He did eventually later on, as Jake wasn't able to just stay on that Junkrat, but that is a weakness that they can't expose.
Yeah, and speaking of the matches that we saw yesterday, let's go ahead and take a look at the bracket to see where we are now. Basically, at this point in time, with France and South Korea, you had that 3-2 victory there with Sweden versus Canada. Sweden will fall. Canada will be going to the gold medal match, and Sweden will be playing in the bronze medal match there. For those of you guys who just tuned in, it was actually a really good game. I mean, Achilleos, I didn't get you know, a chance to ask you. Any thoughts on that last game?
You know, a lot of people were saying that it was going to be Sweden taking it very convincingly. 3-0, 3-1 is what I was kind of hearing from everybody. But I actually said I think that Canada could actually make the run. I think that they could do it.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy with the result. I'm glad that they were able to come out on top. And I mean, there's some fantastic plays from both sides, to Vic trying to pop off and really bring the team back in. But ultimately, I mean, they came out on top. That Junkrat play at the beginning on Nepal was just beautiful from Canada.
Yeah, it was very impressive stuff. Now, though, I mean, I think everyone looks at it, and I'm assuming, James, everyone on the community or in the community are already saying, well, it's going to be South Korea versus Canada in the finals for the gold medal match. My thoughts here, it's like I feel like everyone's writing out France quickly, and I don't think they should. You brought up a really good point before about how the United States kind of showed some of the cracks in the armor of South Korea. We were talking about it extensively yesterday, and this France team was considered to be one of the best squads in the world. So give me some high-level thoughts here on how you feel France can perform in this matchup.
I want to say that France has the same tools that the U.S. brought in their matchup against South Korea when we saw them face off against China yesterday, right? You're going to have Soon on that tracer. He should be able to deal with Sebiobi, and if not, AKM, going on to that Junkrat should also be able to provide that extra support to really shut down Sebiobi. Now, the thing is, if this does grind out into a 4 or 5 mapper, that's where I kind of question, France's endurance at that point.
That's very true, right? You saw it happen yesterday as well. Does South Korea have that endurance to be able to go the distance? Because they also looked a little drained. The team was kind of on the back there of Flower at some points, which is crazy to think when you see the talent that's on that South Korean team at Kilios.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was rougher from them yesterday, but I mean, you talk about having the same tools that USA has, but they have the same tools, they have the same roster that this team had actually when they were competing under the name Rogue in the Apex Season 3 Championship out in South Korea, and they did not find much success. Their record was 1-2. They only won 1 series versus Mighty AOD, which was one of the weaker teams in Korea at the time. So it wasn't a fantastic showing from these guys. So with this roster, they haven't had much success around Koreans, which is why I think that they could still go down here. Realistically, is it going to be a 3-0? I actually do not think so. I think that they could take a game or two here and make this rather competitive, but I do still expect South Korea to persevere at the end of the day.
All right. Well, folks, I know you all are eagerly anticipating it. We're going to get into the game in just a little bit. But for those of you just joining us, your next matchup is going to be France versus South Korea in our second semifinal game of the day to determine who will face off against Canada in our gold medal match. Now, Kilios, you have a lot of experience with this South Korean team. You cast them at OGN back in Korea. We talked extensively about Flower and Sebiobi, but we haven't really talked much about the tanks. I kind of want to get your thoughts here because I kind of feel like, it's always about the DPS, always about, the guys who go out there and do the damage. Why don't you tell me about these tanks in the South Korean side?
So a lot of people were actually kind of shocked when the South Korean roster was announced that Miro wasn't a part of the squad. We have Mono coming in alongside Zumba to be that tanky front line, but it was really Mono with the Reinhardt that kind of was the deciding factor. Miro did not have the most stellar. He was one of the best Winstons, if not the best, in the world and in Korea, but Mono offered up the Reinhardt. And then we saw, South Korea come up with this Phalanx composition, using the Zarya, the Reinhardt, bringing those back into the forefront of their games, and then backing them up with just hard-hitting DPS such as the Reaper and the McCree, so it just becomes an impenetrable line that no team can pierce.
Making their way to the stage is South Korea, the defending champions from last year's 2016 Overwatch World Cup. There you see the roster: Flower, Toby, Ray Jae-hong, Zumba, Mono, and Sebiobi. I happen to be a big fan of Sebiobi because he'll be playing for the NYXL. So, as a New Yorker, thanks, man. This guy, though, and this roster, I should say, all together, incredible stuff that we've seen out of them, incredible grit that we've seen out of them thus far. James, on the other side, though, they're going to be meeting up against a team in France that said on the record, that winning BlizzCon, winning the Overwatch World Cup, that's all well and good. That's nice. But the real objective, the real goal, is to defeat South Korea. So, France.
I think that's the case for every Blizzard title, basically, here at BlizzCon, right? StarCraft, we want to beat the Koreans. Heroes, we want to beat the Koreans. I believe this time, Heroes only have 2 Korean teams in the top 8. So that is always the ultimate goal here for BlizzCon. But even more so, as already in the early infancy stages, Korea's already come out to a dominant start here. But if any team can do it, it's got to be these guys, Rogue. They've been around, France, for so long competing together. Now, Achilles did mention that, they did have a difficult start in Apex, but since then, it's been a long time.
That's right, and the French have arrived to the stage here in Anaheim, California. Smiles on their faces, they get ready for their matchup against South Korea. There's the roster: Wins, Unco, Soon, Nox, AKM, and Nico. Well, all the talk has been said, all the conversation can be had. Let's talk keys to victory and predictions. Achilleos, keys to victory and your prediction.
I mean, honestly, you know, obviously, like, Flower was such a crucial part of South Korea's victory yesterday, but Saebyeolbi kind of went as a bit of an unsung hero because he was really reining in Sinatra and constantly keeping him busy with that Tracer 1v1 and hounding him down, keeping him away from, you know, the back line, away from Toby, away from Ryo Jae-hong. So I think that you really have to try to handle and wrestle with both of these DPS players on the side of Korea, which is a very arduous task that France has to take up. AKM is a fantastic DPS player. If he can bring out something like the Soldier 76 and contain, say, Saebyeolbi, maybe even pop him with the Helix rockets, they might be able to have some success there. But it's just such a difficult position to be in because you kind of have to control all of Team Korea at once rather than just being able to target out one single player.
So you just give me a number, prediction.
3-1.
3-1, South Korea. James, what about for you?
3-1, South Korea.
And thoughts on France, though? Do you think they have a chance here?
They definitely do have a chance, and Seth brought up a great point,
They have
right?
a chance to go 1-3.
Well, AKM, we saw his Soldier 76 was fantastic, but we also saw that his McCree, when he busted it out, I believe it was on Numbani up against Leave yesterday, was able to shut down Leave, who was having a fantastic Tracer game all series long. So I feel like they do still have the tools to deal with it, whether it's with the Junkrat, whether it's with the 76, or even a McCree.
All right, well, the time for talk is over. Maybe it's time to get into the game. Let's make some noise. Let's make the roof explode here in South Korea versus France. Let's send it over to Doha in Monte Cristo.
Hey guys, Doha in Monte Cristo here at BlizzCon 2017, France versus China, another BlizzCon Overwatch World Cup semi-final match, and this one should be fun, man. I think France really performed better than we expected yesterday against China. We knew they had that team cohesion, but in the group stages, it just felt like in Shanghai there was so much more they could have done, and I felt like they really brought that yesterday.
Yeah, you can really see that this team is going for that last shot at glory. They have so much experience playing together. And speaking of that experience, you could tell how much these guys have played professionally yesterday. The mental fortitude in that overtime push on Junkertown versus China was one of the most exciting things we've seen here at this Overwatch World Cup. And we talk about this roster, legends of France like Wins here today to play.
That's right. Speaking of legends, though, man, we have Jae-hong on South Korea, legend in the making, certainly, in Overwatch esports. And we're already getting things started here on Nepal in the university. And I can't wait to see what Flower can do today. Whoa, forget that. The support's fragging out early on, man. Toby has to bring back Mano, but a good start for South Korea right off the bat.
And that is so aggressive by this Korean side. They push directly through the point and chase them back towards their spawn, getting the picks and taking them as many other kills as they can before backing off for the caps. So they will have the early percentage on the board right now. Saebyeolbi on the side looking for possible flank opportunities, zoned out of the door a little bit by some pre-firing.
Yep, that's right. You know, Golden Boy, you know, he likes Saebyeolbi because he's on New York, but he forgot Mano's on that team too, man. I thought you wanted to talk about the tanks, Golden Boy. Get your boy Mano. Saebyeolbi sneaking around, takes out the trap. I never spot those in my games. Saebyeolbi does, though. Meanwhile, Toby has to bring back Mano again. He got a bit too deep. Arco goes down, though. Flower gets 4. No, 3 with the dash and the Diva suit. Are you kidding me? Okay, well,
he's just going to stand there and look cool right there.
He had to take that on for a second. He's like, you know, I dashed over here, but I really should enjoy the view. All right, let's check this one out. Comes through, and there's the slash, man. Gets a bunch right there. And then it's like, maybe I should buy a boat.
Just posing for style after that.
Why not?
He was accepting some contract bonuses, I think.
I think so. That's right. It's like, hold on, I got to make deposit some checks here, guys. Well, France striking back right away, though. 2 kills already as they try to flip this point. We'll see what they can do. Nox popping that Primal Rage. That's working out pretty well as we watch Saebyeolbi just try to stay alive, but nope, not going to happen for him. And unless Mano can hold this on, I think that's wise to save the Primal Rage. Let the point flip. You've got 70% if you're South Korea already. You can take some time and come back strong.
Yeah, we do see AKM, of course, switching over to the Pharah as well, trying to play that hero that he is, you know, pretty well known for on this particular map. And soon we'll find Flower, who has himself changed over to that McCree.
Interesting. All right. Well, Toby brings him back up again. AKM, meanwhile, trying to guard that corner. Not going to last very long, though, is South Korea, man. They are not wasting any time in trying to flip this point right back again. Nico on his own, but he tracks down Flower. Can he get the kill? Maybe, no, not quite. Zumba finishing him off with his own diva. And South Korea is going to grab it right back. Only 32% for France in that hold so far.
And how far are they going to push this forward? They have the Deadeye for a big zone potentially coming off of spawn, but they're going to play more defensively, wait for them to get onto the point. They know it is desperation time right now for France. AKM has the barrage, but no other ults available or even really close for France.
That's right. Here we go, Nox coming in early. Oh, gets nailed by the flashbang though. Has to try to get out. He's low health here. AKM with the barrage. Gets the kill on Flower. Flower though brought back up immediately by Toby. But France ahead in this fight for the moment. We'll see if maybe South Korea can turn it around. Flower needing to play very defensively around these walls. And yeah, he's going to have to back away. I think South Korea looking like they might need to reset here.
France did a good job with the one tool they had available.
Yeah.
AKM soared over the top of everyone and over the top of the Transcendence to get an angle for that barrage and take out the threat to him, which is Flower on this McCree.
That's right. There's the Deadeye. Looking for some. No, he gets Uncle and AKM. The pharmacy is closed, and South Korea is going to take this one right back, and they're already at 99% here. If they can flip it, it's pretty bad for France in round one. Looks like they will, and can France even get back to the point in time?
Doesn't look like so. It. Nox is going to try and get there, but he's not going to have the opportunity.
Wow. So South Korea having to give up that point for a little bit in this first round, but overall doing quite well right out of the gate here.
I'm impressed by France too, though, especially on that last push. Playing around a single Pharah ult is very difficult, especially when you have to be stationary against a target like McCree. But one of the things that AKM does with Pharah, he plays this dive Pharah. He typically scoots pretty low to the ground and tries to get into the backlines up close and personal. So yeah, he plays it a bit differently than many other players choose to play that hero, so it can be a bit deceiving.
Yeah, that's right. Nerf Korea. Well, people have been trying to do that for a long time, my friend. I'm sorry. USA came about as close as we've seen anyone in recent history. And here we go on to City Center. South Korea, if they win this one, they will take Nepal. Toby looking to take the high ground here as France is there. Going to see if he can dislodge him maybe.
And we're going to see mirror composition. Pretty standard for City Center to have the Pharah. Of course, sometimes you can go with that Genji instead. Right. Flower's going to start things off with a neat pick onto Unko, but there should be a res onto Flower. Actually not.
Well, maybe not. I mean, it looks like he couldn't get to him safely. Yeah, Nico does take down Jaehong, so France, pretty good start here. It's a bit of a brawl, but Zunba taking down Nox may be enough to kind of flip this back in South Korea's favor for the moment. Yeah, it looks like they're barely going to hold on in this fight. AKM kind of on his lonesome, and there's a flying space gorilla. You never expect that one. Actually, maybe you do if you watch enough Korean Overwatch. Yeah. To say
just when you think you're safe.
Yeah, we did see Mano go off the map to smack down somebody last map in Primal Rage.
That was pretty good.
Yep. Miro is here in spirit, guys.
Flower just gonna take a couple long rockets, see if he can chunk them out while they're coming in. AKM might be Pharah hunting yet again.
Could be. As far as hunting each other right now, yeah. But Nico, or rather Nox, decides to get involved for the moment, forcing Flower back for the moment. Nox kind of on his own. Meanwhile, that point is getting flipped. The control meter 2/3 full for France. Soon does take down Mano. It's looking a little bit better, and yeah, with Zimba falling as well, this might be a good opportunity for France here.
Yeah, France really excelled at focusing Jaehong at the start of that fight, getting him low so he had to float out of the battle, which put him out of position to res Mono when he died. So that was able to snowball the fight for France. Jaehong, you know, we was like out with 25 HP, so couldn't actually risk being involved in that engagement. And as a result, France will take the advantage and start building up that control percent for themselves.
Oh, that was a great stagger too on Jaehong at the very end. You know, in a way, if Mercy ends up being the last person alive on the team in a fight, you can kind of treat her like that pilot diva and just not let her go back and die to respawn quicker.
Yeah, you definitely can.
Stall that one out a little bit. South Korea trying to attack on a couple fronts here. Sableby on the side, fighting that duel with Soon. It's dangerous to play in traffic, guys. You got to be careful. Oh, that's close. Soon force a recall first. Sableby gets the health pack, I believe. Yeah, he's going to grab it now. The duel continues. Meanwhile, Unko does bring AKM back up again. He was taken out by Flower in air to air, and Mano comes in. He's like, we don't have time for this, guys. We got to switch the point over. 50% here for France. They have pulled into the lead as Nox bats around Toby and sets up a kill for AKM. France looks like they're going to hold on to this for the moment, but Jaehong and Valkyrie brings a couple back. Either way, though, South Korea, oh, never mind. Just what I was about to say. They need to back off. They get a couple kills.
Yeah, points
Maybe
still,
it's enough.
Yeah, points still not flipping, though. And that Tracer duel, Sableby stayed in there for longer than we typically see.
I can fly. No. Run. Oh, Jaehong finished him off with the Thunder support. That has got to be the most embarrassing way to fare to die. All right, you have a jetpack, and you were just knocked around by a monkey and then finished off by Mercy. That one's got to hurt a bit. That one stinks.
Some good teamwork, though, to corral him back towards the rest of the team.
Yeah.
And now Mano going to be lurking on the high ground here. Not a lot to use. AKM will have the barrage up very soon.
Pretty much. Mano dropping back down for the moment, trying to secure that central pillar. Oh, two Winstons electrocuting each other. That's a pleasant sound. Nico does take down Toby. Mano in a lot of trouble here. He's super low. Sableby manages to finish off Noxo at the pulse bomb, and Jaehong gets to Mano just in time to keep him up. He was so low HP-wise, and now Unko in a little bit of trouble. One more jump may do it, but the sound barrier gonna try to keep France alive for just a little bit longer. South Korea, though, getting closer and closer to 99%, and Sableby getting a little bit of health back with that recall. He's gonna have to duck out and give the point over for the moment, though.
Yeah, that res on AKM proved crucial, getting him back up and able to finish off Zunba and start to swing the fight in France's favor. Soon sitting on a pulse bomb, but we are very close to Jaehong and Toby both having their ultimates up, and having two support ultimates going to be perhaps a defining factor as we head into this overtime here on City Center.
And this point has been so close, 99% for France already. South Korea needs to get on there, and that's exactly what they're doing. Half the control meter filled right now as Zunba tosses out the self-destruct. No kills from that, though. Unko has to bring back Nico after the kill from Mano. But so far, everybody playing pretty evasively. AKM wins the Farah duel against Flower, though. Jaehong forced to pop one of his reses for that one. And now Nox with the Primal Rage. Maybe enough to split South Korea, but it's not quite looking like that. Nico demeched yet again. Flower has to be brought back by Jaehong. And we're still into OT. South Korea has not flipped this point. AKM with the barrage. Will it be enough? It looks like France is pulling into the lead here. And Nox stomping Sableby flat. And Zunba only the pilot diva left, and that's not going to be enough. France ties up this map.
Really clutching it out there. AKM having a great day on Farah, getting a lot more done with the barrage than we typically see due to positioning himself so far in the back lines here on Oasis. France is definitely making this competitive.
Certainly are. And what a last showing by this squad too. You know, I mean, we saw the desk talk about Team Rogue a little bit, and that's this group here on Team France, and they played together for a long, long time. And, you know, this is probably the last time we're going to get to see this group together is here at BlizzCon today. So this is it, and they are certainly giving us a memorable performance so far.
They certainly are. Doors about to open. Looks like we are going to be treated to some more Farah versus Farah. Typical composition that we see on Gardens due to the verticality of the point.
Yeah. It's about what we'd expect. Everybody trying to jump on the high ground for the moment. Soon needing to be a little bit careful here as the Pharaohs go to work. Against each other, Jaehong getting low, taken down by Nox. Great teamwork there. Flower way out on the side of the map though for the moment. Not reachable by Soon quite yet. Chased away by Toby, but he does manage to demech Zunba. So good start for France, a great start for France.
And
in fact,
yep, they're going to get the first pickup on this capture point. Jaehong picked off early thanks to Soon just picking away at him from a distance with those tracer pistols. And then the coordination, of course, that we expect from this Team France roster. Nox flying up to finish him off.
Yeah. And so South Korea going to come from behind here in this third and final round on Nepal. Coming in now into the point. Soon stay on the outside. He's got that pulse bomb. South Korea a little bit grouped up. They need to be careful here. Zunba gets stuck, gets demeched. No other kills though for Soon with that. Was looking for a little bit more here. Nox does go down. Sabielby took him out with his own pulse bomb, but soon not done yet. There goes a Pilot Diva, and he's going for Mono. Mono a little bit low here, needs some heals from Jaehong, or somebody at least, has to pop that Primal Rage in the end, and South Korea just trying to keep France split up right now.
Soon's just doing so much work right now, but he is going to get knocked straight off the edge by Mono. Nox entering a Primal Rage himself. Attempt to burn down that 1000 HP with the barrage, going to be mostly successful, but he's still alive and hasn't been finished.
Nice direct hit from Flower will finish him. South Korea, though, still hasn't flipped the point. Maybe they can finally do it now, but the respawns for France are going to start coming back here.
And here we go, more aerial rocket duels. AKM on the side of the map, and he's going to win.
2 in a row, man. AKM, he could only take one more rocket before he would have been taken out. Great duel win by him, and France is back at it. 78% right now. South Korea still has been unable to flip it until right now.
This is the map, though, Doa, that we see so many of these 99 overtimes as we look at this self-destruct. AKM was too busy focused on his duel with Flower, which he won, but then was taken out by the self-destruct immediately thereafter.
Not bad. So South Korea needs to hold this for a long time, and Sabi will be getting picked early, and forcing out that res from Jaehong is not a great start for them. Zunba just trying to maintain the high ground, and Nox, no Primal Rage for him. He needs to be very careful right now. He's super low, and he may get taken out right here. That would be disaster. Hops away at the last second, and Zunba unable to finish that kill. They do demech Nico, though, and that's a good start to get one of the tanks down at least. Toby, though, not living through this fight. Unko, I believe, did pop that Valkyrie. Yeah, he's got it active right now. We'll see if Zunba can maybe get anyone knocked out of the air here. But man, these fights on Gardens are always such a scrap.
And nobody's close to those ultimates on the South Korean side right now. Mono's going to try and do some work here, but he will fall out of that Primal Rage. AKM gets hit up on the ceiling, and Mono will sacrifice himself.
Took him out on the way down.
To pick up that kill. Jaehong comes back and at least is going to get the opportunity to resurrect Toby, but this scrap ongoing, it is very hard to flip this point.
Yeah, again, and there's Flower with the big barrage, gets 2, and gets enough damage done that soon has to retreat there. South Korea holding strong, and we could be looking at a pretty high percent to high percent situation here.
As usual, this is what we know Gardens for. Flower just pre-firing a little bit over the doorway, slowing them as much as he possibly can on their approach. France going to be entering right now with Nico and Nox from the front gate, flank around the side as well. We'll see what the timing on this attack is.
That's right. Flower just waiting. Lucio claims it'll make him feel better, but I don't know. It's pretty tense for me right now. Another air-to-air. Flower losing that last duel, has to back away. Jaehong taken down by the self-destruct. Flower was able to avoid it with his concussion missile, but it was close, man. France starting to win this fight pretty hard. AKM with 3 already, and we are into overtime. They need to flip it back, and they do. South Korea, the ones in big trouble right now. Unless they can get this one back again. AKM needs a bit of healing.
And this is where, Doa, we go to what we typically see as an extended overtime battle.
Yeah.
Here on Gardens on Oasis, AKM with the barrage. Unko nearly has that Valkyrie, but we are going to see a support ult advantage, most likely for South Korea. Zunba going to start things off with a kill onto Wins.
Yeah, Wins does go down. AKM not getting a lot with that barrage, not as much as he wanted to. Oh, he gets Jaehong, though, with the air-to-air. That was a crucial kill for France. They really needed Jaehong to stay alive if Korea was going to be able to fight this one out. I think this map may be over. We will see. South Korea still trying to come back, and these fights in overtime do usually take a while.
But the double self-destruct kill, Doa. He gets the big kills, and now we're going to see Jaehong come back with the Valkyries. Already used it right now, and this should be South Korea pulling through thanks to a timely return from the Mercy.
Yeah, Mano's got the Primal Rage too. AKM finally falls. South Korea flips it, and they'll take Nepal. That could not have been closer.
Wow, AKM, in spite of the loss, put up some really good performances on that Pharah.
Yeah, no
just
kidding.
making sure he could kill the Mercy over and over again. That was the biggest aspect of this game, was his control over Jaehong.
I mean, AKM currently the king of the air in this match so far. We'll see if anything changes when we come back for map number 2. Quick break until then, guys. Don't go anywhere. More France versus Korea right after this.
BlizzCon 2017 is brought to you in part by Republic of Gamers, Intel, T-Mobile, and NVIDIA.
Welcome back, guys, to a little bit of France versus South Korea action here at the 2017 Overwatch World Cup semifinals. Korea barely pulling that last map out.
And now we are going to Numbani, the expected pickup here, a map that Rogue and Team France, they're one in the same, but we call them both depending on where they are competing.
Depending on our headspace at the moment.
Exactly, and if we get confused or not. A map that this team, regardless, has excelled on in the past. I think we can easily expect Volskaya next if they are going to lose this one. Another map that they have seen, you know, a lot of wins on so far. And not just the player, but actual victories as well.
Yeah. Here we go. Numbani. And that's us. Don Monte Cristo. Happy to be here at BlizzCon once again. It's our second World Cup, and man, the matches this year have been so intense, man. It was good last year, but this year is like a whole nother level.
Yeah, that's right. Now that we've got so many of these professional players, future Overwatch League,
our team colors,
competitors, our team colors, our replay features, everything is brand new and shiny.
Oh yeah.
And now we are going to see South Korea with a pretty standard setup on the defense. Jae-Hong going to be playing his specialty hero Ana, and AKM likewise going to be matching with his feared Soldier 76.
That's right. France going for a little bit of dive, as they often do on this map, but the composition that they often use, Mano jumping in very early here. He's got the shield down, just trying to disrupt France, separate people a little bit from their team, trying to prevent that early dive. Flower does go down early, not able to protect him. Is South Korea like they were hoping? Flower has to be brought back up with the res. Meanwhile, Nico D-Mex Zunba. And again, another brawl in the payload, but France gaining a lot of time already. They've nearly got it, and they just managed to keep South Korea off the point long enough to just grab it on their first push.
Great patience by France on that choke. They allow Mono to come into them to start the initial burst of damage and slowly walk forward and continue to get kills. And now France is chasing Korea all the way back to the spawn behind point C.
You know, I mean, South Korea uses the Illidan player logo. So in the lobby, you just see a whole wall of "You are not prepared." But I gotta say, I don't think it may be France that are the not prepared ones in Numbani here.
And now France just has so much time to work with. And we'll see how dedicated Korea wants to be to trying to slow them down here on point B, which we rarely see point B holds, but sometimes you can take a little bit of time off the clock.
Well, that was a
zoning tac visor.
It was a zoning tac visor, that's right. Yep, that's right. Let's take a look at his stats here. One zoning tac visor. They didn't put that one on there. South Korea diving in. trying to keep France off the payload. Sabielby grabs 2 already, so it looks like a pretty decent defense for the moment anyway. Despite AKM managing to get a little bit of revenge there. Oh, Nico with 2 on that self-destruct, and France comes right back to the payload again. Toby forced to use that double res, popping that Valkyrie again, but AKM, man, nobody seems to be able to stop him right now.
They're at least slowing down the payload. A little bit. Both players having to use Valkyrie in order to get the extra reses. So the grind here from France coming through, especially with Wins using that Transcendence. They should be able to eventually pull through on this fight and push the rest of the way on to point B. So was but a minor distraction. Jaehong going to be switching on to the Zenyatta. He was staying there just because he had the nano boost up and wanted to use that as an engagement tool with Mono, and that's a sneaky little self-destruct there.
Nothing but net. Just put that one right in there.
That was a really good angle behind the cart too.
Yeah. From downtown, he's on fire. Oh, there we go. There's a res. Wins comes back. Come on back, Wins. Here we go though. Flower though, pulling out the Dragon Blade. We'll see what he can get with it. Not finding a whole lot so far, and in the end has to back away. The rest of his team's trying to take advantage of the chaos, so they're going to jump in. AKM will fall to Sabielby, and Wins will go down in the end too. So France does get point B, but kind of stalled out just past that point, as South Korea holds for the moment.
And we're seeing how you play around Mercy in this particular meta. If you get lucky like we saw, and your Zenyatta player is going to get a big right-click play, then that's when you start to invest ultimates. When they already are down a res, you need to make sure that's going away so that you have your ultimates are stickier. They have a higher value and a higher percentage chance of actually winning you a fight that delays the payload.
Well, speaking of winning a fight, Unko goes down very early in this one, and that's going to mean most likely a 1 fight for South Korea, and Flower going to put the exclamation point on the end of that sentence with the Dragon Blade.
Flower dangerously close to another Dragon Blade now.
It just seems like he's always got it. He fooled me there. I admit it. Didn't have it there.
Yeah, just getting the kills off the dash, but it is impressive how fast he's able to recharge that ability.
Yep.
France going to be coming in with the tac visor.
There we go.
And how are they going to approach this? Looks like they're trying to head around the far side of the card, but Wins is actually on his own right now.
Uh-oh, that could be rough. Oh, but they take down Flower just in time. Toby doing what he can with that Valkyrie, needs to get in there with the reses really quick. France using nearly all their ultimates right now to try to push this, but it's South Korea coming out ahead in the fight. It was an apocalyptic battle, but that payload is stopped.
That was actually a really good tactical visor from AKM. So when they saw the kill onto Wins, they knew that's when Flower was going to pull that blade, because that's what he did in the exact previous fight before this. So just waiting very patiently and kills him during the animation. Doesn't end up in a 1 fight, but they are going to have at least a Primal Rage, and they did force South Korea out of an ult advantage situation.
I like the swap onto McCree by AKM here. Able to handle Flower in those close quarters combat. Toby in a lot of trouble. Wow, he just gets zapped to death by Nox, who gets in there with that Winston. Kind of a weird battle as South Korea finds themselves behind France, and that payload is moving.
Yeah, it's still going. They're going to try and flank with people coming out of spawn right now.
Yeah.
They don't want to start trickling onto that card one at a time.
All right, Zumba. Not lasting too long here. France with 230 to push this payload just a little ways. Nox goes ahead and uses that Primal Rage to get out of the fight. Make sure that he can still stay grouped up with his team. Comes down behind Flower. And Sabielby not quite lasting against AKM here. France with a golden opportunity to get a little bit more distance on this payload.
Yeah, Flower, though, causing a lot of issues for them. He's going to get another Dragon Blade. Can he get the kills? He can!
He's got 3 already. Looking for a little bit more, but he has certainly bought Korea some time.
Wow, just dodging right over the top of AKM to find those supports in the backfield and ensuring that they go down immediately. Unko will return to the fray, though, with the Valkyrie.
Yeah, Unko has that Valkyrie, too, so.
And now Jaehong as well. So you're going to match the support ult coming through. The damage boosting here onto AKM as he's looking for those long-range shots. Nox has been doing a good job of finishing off.
Wow, Sabielby takes down Unko. They don't have the Valkyrie anymore on the side of France, and this is going to be another pretty stompy fight for South Korea. Flower falls in the end. Toby's going to just bring him right back up again with the normal cooldown. And France back to the drawing board. They still have a minute 20 remaining, but I'd start to be a little bit worried if I'm the blue team right now.
I would be too. They need to keep an eye out for the Dragon Blade of Flower again. And even though they have those 2 support ultimates, it's been a bit of mind games as to when that sword has been pulled on these last few pushes.
Yeah. Both attack ults for South Korea, they're actually very well situated ultimate-wise. See what happens. Mano taken down very early due to Soon's pulse bomb. Flower having to back away. Nico grabs Jaehong with that self-destruct. France winning a big fight, trying to push that payload ahead, and Flower not able to get anything done at all. He's still got the Dragon Blade, and South Korea is going to need to put those ults to good work when they get back.
I just need to delay the cart right now, wait for those respawns, and allow Flower to clean this up. There are no more support ultimates to defend against this from France.
Yeah.
It has to be AKM hitting some great shots, or Nox bouncing him back so he can't get dash resets.
Zumba's got that great zoning tool in the self-destruct. He needs to maybe use that rather than lose the mech. Nox gets 2 already with the Primal Rage, trying to guard the spawns. Self-destruct was used. France had to back off for a moment, but they've still got time.
Flower dies again with his Dragon Blade up and available. He didn't have the healing as he was in the back lines to make the most of that ability, so the cart continues to move here in overtime.
South Korea just relying on the respawns. Now it soon gets Toby with the pulse bomb. France just going to push his payload forward, and I don't think Flower's going to last long enough to do this one. He's got the Dragon Blade, but can't get the kills, and France will finish Dambani attack in OT.
That was maybe a bit greedy there from Flower, waiting for a long time. There wasn't ever a good opportunity for him to use that Dragon Blade, but sometimes I think you have to go for it. And tries at the very end, but in a 3-on-1, it makes things very difficult.
And France manages to finish that attack run. It was close at the end. Check a replay with Flower. Going to be pulling out that Dragon Blade. This was one of the better fights for South Korea, as you can see. Ooh. Wow.
Just diving right over the top of AKM. Dangerous still for him to do that. He could have been shut down there twice in a row.
Yep. I feel like we're seeing just a bit of desperation creep into South Korea's tactics here. Flower may be a little bit flustered, but it felt like he took some time to sort of activate right in their match against USA.
Yeah, I think to a certain degree that's true. And the longer the games went on, it seemed like the better Flower got. We got to see that Widowmaker play.
It can be a late bloomer sometimes.
And Gibraltar, and then of course, and the thing about these Korean teams is they have such immense fortitude when it comes to playing at a consistent level over a long series. A lot of other teams tend to lose focus, tend to not be able to play at the level they start a match at or the level they peak at a match at. I think we saw that a bit yesterday from USA versus Korea that played them competitively but ran out of gas in maps 4 and 5.
Everyone free to live as they choose.
Yep. So here we go. France on the defense now. South Korea gonna try to equalize and finish their attack run on Dambani here. All they have to do is do with a little bit of time left in the time bank to have a pretty big edge over France if we go to the time bank mode. France, you're always in a good spot when you complete an Dambani attack. That last point is tough for any team to take.
This is an interesting look from South Korea. They are going to switch Saebyulbi over to the Soldier 76, but that's a great dive.
All right.
So Team France sees their composition and they say, hey, they're going for poke. They want to deal with us from long range. France, excellent at diving, just gets on top of the Korean roster and instantly and shuts them down on the approach to the high ground. So not going to let them have any kind of good positioning. They know they're heading around the left side instead of trying to dive up into the upper right with those more mobility-based heroes.
Yeah. Zumba not minding at all, going back and doing the hero swap to get his suit back. Didn't have a lot of ult charge to lose there.
Yeah, gotta do it too.
Oh yeah, definitely. Here we go. A little bit of Farah v Farah again. AKM certainly winning that fight on Nepal despite France losing the map, and looks like France is going to be winning this fight.
And this is great from France. They're using a mobility advantage that they have with their team composition to collapse on the flanks. And they know Flower's up there, but they also know he has no line of sight if he's floating at the main entrance on the main road, and the rest of his teammates are coming through that gate to the upper level on the left-hand side. So they jump over there, and quickly eliminate. So France's shot calling going well so far on Numbani.
Yeah, keep in mind too that France was able to just roll in and take point A on their very first attack too. So already South Korea with a much slower point A time here. Oh, so close, man. Oko does go down. And Flower taking the lead in this pharmacy battle here. France, though, on the other side of the fight, taking down Jaehong and Saebyeolbi. Toby brings back Saebyeolbi for the moment, but they need to make this res count.
And it doesn't. So
nope, it does not.
AKM will finish him off, and Flower doing what he can, but for the most part, Team France is just ignoring the Pharah right now and playing in the corridors to get the early kills. So he's working extremely well, tight defense, and Korea continuing to stick with this particular composition. They don't want to move off of it, in spite of the fact that they have seen really limited success. They're under 2 minutes remaining.
That's right, and they've already got the first tick here. France just moving way far off the point. And South Korea, they may get the second tick here too. France needs to get back here and defend this. They do now. There's a barrage to kind of block the hallway. Transcendence used by Jaehong to keep everybody up on France, or on South Korea rather. AKM though, taken down by Flower. And maybe this is the time. Saebyeolbi, I believe, popped that tac visor too, and they're just throwing everything they've got into this fight. Will it be enough though? Looks like it might be. Yeah, as Flower finishes off Nico, that's going to be South Korea taking point A here in the end. And they will get this payload moving, but only a minute left on point A before they took it.
Yeah, that was a big delay for Team France, especially, you know, considering they've already completed this map. So this is an opportunity for them to really slow down the cart in point B. They have a sound barrier in order to do that. And with point C on Numbani being quite difficult for the attacking side, it's looking less and less likely that unless Korea basically runs through unopposed, that they are going to make it to the end of this map.
Yeah, well, they're certainly not going to do that as Jaehong already taken out, and look at that. Already a great start for France here on the streets phase, pushing South Korea all the way back to spawn.
So they will all re-enter the room and regroup. Flower decides he is tired of this Pharah versus Pharah battle, although to be fair, it hasn't been much of a Pharah versus Pharah as we saw in Oasis. It's mostly been ignore Flower and kill everybody else.
That worked for France for quite a while.
But he's tired of the shenanigans, wants to be able to take out Unko and AKM on his own terms, but he will not have that opportunity soon, making his life difficult.
Yeah, and France, just at this point, it feels like they're just kind of splitting off and taking their own little 1v1s. Nox knows that he's got the health advantage over Mano. He's just going to keep chasing him. Oh no, he's coming, look out! The melee's, oh, the primal rage from Mano. Turnabout is fair play. Nox does get brought back up by Unko right away. Just when you thought it was safe.
Nox activated Mano's trap card.
Yeah, that's right. Drawing the ultimate out is still a win in the end, no matter what.
Yeah, for sure.
For Nox.
That buys so much time for France, and now they're basically just spawn camping them.
Pretty much, although South Korea finally taking the lead here in kills. Hard to dislodge soon from the cart, but they finally do that. But again, it's about the timing. South Korea's already down to about 1:30 on the clock.
That was another minute that melted away.
Yeah.
And they've got a ways to go on point B. They're going to have to fight again. So it'll probably be somewhat of a desperation push if they can even make it to point C on Numbani.
It'd be pretty incredible to see South Korea finish the map at this point. Just timing-wise, it's going to be so hard for them to do point C. Nice flashbang over the car here, but Flower has to back away anyway, as he wasn't able to follow up enough damage. Flower,
nice stash by Soon.
That was so close. Jaehong found him in the end anyway, but he managed to avoid the Deadeye. Gets brought back up right away by Unko. Flower turning things around a little bit. Saebyeolbi had to be res. And that payload still going to roll forward a little bit more. Whoa, AKM though, with a surprise Deadeye. I don't think he was expecting that one.
Coming around the lip of the cart and immediately walking into that Deadeye. Looks like Korea will, in the end, be the victors of this fight, but 40 seconds left, and there's still delaying going on by Soon.
That is so annoying, man. They finally take him down, but Soon on his own has cost South Korea so much time here on Numbani.
And all they get is a minute and a half for completing that checkpoint.
Yeah, good luck doing that, because this point is really tough to do fast.
And here comes the Orisa, Doa. Time to entrench their defenses.
Yep.
Around this corner, dare them to walk forward, try and break this barrier.
Flower breaks Nico out of the mech already. Decent opening salvo from South Korea.
Soon is playing around these Deadeyes so well. No kidding.
Oh, Flower finally finds him. Took a while, but finally caught that Tracer with the flashbang. Nico just jumping right back onto the payload, though, delaying a little bit more, but it is still moving. A minute remaining for South Korea. They've got the self-destruct. They've nearly got the Valkyrie. Let's watch this one again. Let's see what Sabielby did here. Managed to throw the pulse bomb in there. Nice stick there onto AKM. Oh, an AKM! No, you don't want to tumble that way, man. That is the wrong way.
It's the highest damage tumble I've ever seen.
That's right. That was a max damage tumble. And Flower just waltzing in here with the revolver and finally gets taken down. Going to be brought back up again, of course. But South Korea are rolling forward just like they needed to. Nox, the only one standing between them and completing the map. AKM joins the fray now, but that may be it. That may be enough. Nico can't get there, and South Korea finishes with just over a minute, minute 38 remaining. We said they had to have an amazing point C, and man, they really did. Between Sabielby and Flower,
I agree, Joe, but I really wonder about that Orisa switch. So I like it when you're playing around that corner and you can alternate between hiding around the corner and placing your barrier down.
Right.
But I think after that push, he was really not very far along in terms of ult percentage. I think for that last fight, I would have rather seen him switch to Reinhardt and just get on top of the cart and start dealing a little bit more damage and at least have more mobility as to which angle he could move the shield to. So I think that probably would have been a good switch, but didn't happen.
Let's watch this one more time, just because it's so much fun. A tumbling tumbleweed is AKM tumbling into the death of his
That's the deadliest tumbleweed I've ever seen, Noah.
I'm McCree and I'm helping. Well, here we are into the time bank round now. It's going to be an attack coming first from the French side. They have 1 minute to do what they can.
Well, they were very convincing on their initial attack on their first run, so maybe they can duplicate that.
Yep.
South Korea on the defense. Flower this time will be on the Genji, so they have abandoned the Soldier 76. So they are trying to react to the French dive, but that's not what we're going to get. We're going to get Bastion.
That's right. I love it, man. We've seen quite a bit of Bastion in this tournament so far, and I can't complain. And this is one of the oldest tricks in the book on Nimbani, man. You charge onto the high ground, set Bastion up behind the shield, catch somebody out. We're back on the ladder with this one here. We'll see how South Korea reacts. Soon, of course, backing away. Oh, and he's fallen to pieces already. Flower just jumping right in there. France responding. The Bastion down for the moment.
So that's the danger, Doa. If they have the Genji and you walk up onto that high ground, the Genji dash through that doorway. If you are coordinated, you'll notice South Korea, they send in Zunba on the Diva first, and then Flower followed him in behind the defense matrix to get the big dashes and clear that attack out.
Yeah.
Great reaction from South Korea. France is now going to, of course, switch off the Bastion. The jig is up.
Now we're into overtime already, though. I mean, that was their one shot. They've really got to win a scrappy fight here. Unko has to bring up Soon again already, and Mano just responds by Mario stomping him to death here. Nox coming back in with 2 kills himself. One of them was Toby. So South Korea without their mercy. It's all on Flower. It's all the Dragon Blade. He's got 2 already. Make it 3. And Flower will single-handedly deny France any progress in their time bank attack.
And that is the fruit of the labor from the first push. You get a huge amount of ult charge by getting the dashes in that corridor and then transfer it into a big ultimate to make sure it's cleaned out. Now we could, of course, still have a draw here.
Definitely.
Definitely that possibility. Korea only has 38 more seconds compared to France in order to get that first tick on point A.
That is true. Can't blame France for giving it a shot with the Bastion. I mean, you know, we've seen that work in the past. It's a bit of a cheese strat, but when you only have that little amount of time, you kind of have to go for something tricky once in a while.
Well, they were expecting the Soldier. They were not expecting the Genji, but Korea had already made an adaptation because it's weird. Because France had that dive composition, they chose to do something more mobile so they could react to it. It just ended up also being very good against the Reinhardt Bastion.
That's right. So here we are, France on the defense, South Korea on the attack with 1 minute and 38 seconds in the time bank. All they need to do is take that first tick here on point A Nimbani, and they will go up 2-0 in this series. But even if they do that, man, what a close series already.
Yeah, it's been great. You see so much intelligent team composition management and ult management from these teams.
Right.
And AKM playing once more with the Pharah. Mercy, swap to Flower on the Soldier 76. So they're going for Soldier Tracer. They are going to need the high ground here, but they want to avoid getting hit by that Pharah as they go into position. Tanks
now they spot
coming around the left-hand side.
That's right.
This is a bait so that they can provide protection while people come through the door.
I'll see if it works out. Nox getting a little bit low there. Soon as well, Mano has to back away, get some health back again. Nox just trying to control that hallway, build up that ult charge by hitting as many people as possible.
Mano scarily close to death there, but runs back to the Mercy.
AKM super low right now. Flower has to be careful. Nox tried to save him. Both Divas desuited here, and AKM very low. Flower finds that kill he's been searching for this entire attack, but France responded.
There is no
does go down. Oh no, no health for Flower, and Nico manages to finish him off. Jaehong on the point right now though, and that may be enough right here. We'll see if they can do it. Self-destruct comes in.
Nico is not killed.
Get Nico. He gets back in the suit just in time, and man, France barely holds.
But Jaehong will have his ultimate up. The Transcendence will be there. We're going to see support ults from both of these sides. And attack visor. When will Flower have an opportunity to use it, if ever?
Well, AKM needs to come up with a huge pick right now. If he can take down Jaehong or Toby here before they get to the point, that is massive. 5 seconds here as South Korea comes in to try to win Nimbani. Flower on the high ground, draws people out of position. Let's see if France responds. They didn't chase quite as much as Flower was hoping here. Poking in, South Korea on the point. We're into OT, and Flower looking for that opportunity. Oh, Wins goes down. Zumba with the first kill. Has to be brought back up again by Unko, and Flower tries to find the advantage, but Nico right there with the Diva to block that tack visor. South Korea is on the point right now, and that self-destruct does catch AKM. So here's a chance. Unko takes down Jaehong with the blaster, but South Korea on the point. They only need a little bit more, and soon, once again, it's all him standing between France and defeat, and Sabi will be right there as well. Nox coming in with Unko again. They've got a chance. Zunba only at about half health.
Sabiel's down.
Korea, they got to get back there, man.
Flower came back with the Sombra to get a little bit faster back to the point. Translocates up. This is the desperation Sombra, but he has made it back and joined the fray.
Primal Rage from Mano, and France, I don't know if they can handle this, man. It's going to be tough. Self-destruct takes down Toby, but they're so close, and South Korea, again, barely wins the map. They will go up 2-0 in this series.
It has been a very close 2-0 though, and you see it was only the swaps to the Sombra and Jaehong onto the Soldier that got them back in time to grind that fight out on the point.
Man, that was about as close again as you can cut it here. I can't believe it. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will move into the second half of this match and see who moves on to the finals. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
BlizzCon 2017 is brought to you in part by Republic of Gamers, Intel, T-Mobile, and NVIDIA.
There's a reason why he's hailed as one of the best Tracer players in the game.
Soon is my favorite Tracer player.
Soon from Team France is, well, my favorite Tracer ever.
Generally speaking, we kind of rate a Tracer's effectiveness by how many kills they get per pulse bomb or how much damage they can do in a fight or what their kill to death ratio is. And Soon is kind of top of his class in all of those categories.
I just play, no pressure. I just play. If I fail, I don't care. If I clutch, I don't care.
Even in metas where Tracer has not been quite as prevalent, Soon has been very loyal to his Tracer, playing it at times where people might go, can he really do that right now?
And those are 2 kills already, Noah. Oh boy.
The answer is yes.
A lot of people say that Soon has changed quite a bit since he went over to Korea. He got kind of tilted playing against the Korean players. But me personally, I think Soon is still as dangerous as he always has been. And we saw a lot in Shanghai that Soon can still carry a team. Soon can still make those very important plays when he's needed.
I wouldn't want to say that he carried the French team because every single one of the France players did very, very well. If he wasn't famous before, right, for being ranked #1 Tracer in the world, he's famous now.
So much, guys, over at the casting booth. What a game that you guys have a pleasure to call over there. Welcome back, everyone, to the 2017 Overwatch World Cup. It's the halftime for our second semifinal of the day. Joining us now on the desk is Hex. You see that you're just killing me with your name?
Yeah, I apologize. Everything falls apart once he gets it.
I know, right? it sucks too because it's like Hex and then X and for Mr. X.
I'll change my name for you.
You should be Mr. Hex. If you guys ever cast together, you'll be Mr. Hex.
I think we did like a year ago. Yeah.
Okay, so that works out well. In any case, so wow, what a game that we have here, guys. South Korea up 2-0, but don't let the scoreline fool you because these games have been incredibly close. Jamerson, I want to ask you a question here. Firstly, how do you feel about France's performance in this matchup? And then second, it's not really a question, it's more of a statement because I believe you have a cool highlight for us as well.
I mean, we knew that if they lost the first map, they were more than likely going to take it to Numani because that is just classic France, classic Rogue. And we saw initially on point A, their dive coming out in this highlight that we do have ready for you guys, that it was just absolutely classic execution coming out from them where they contest the high ground and force them away. As soon as we get this highlight started, I can exactly show you what happened. And then we'll see the stylistic just approach coming out from them at this point. This is the stagger that happened afterwards, though. After they took point A. But I mean, it was just, right, the D.Va and the Winston jumping onto the high ground, forcing them back, and then, of course, going straight for the spawn here and picking up all of these staggered kills, which made it difficult for Korea to reestablish their defense.
It's a very uncharacteristic to see the South Koreans being pushed back like that, James. And you would think that they would have been aware of it going into it, that Rogue would have looked to have done the dive early on. And this man right here, Nox, has been driving that. He has been so good this game. Dare I say he's playing the game of his life at this time, James?
I mean, he is, but also on the other end, if we take a look at Mono's stats, he's doing an incredible job on this Winston. We saw Nox at 40-something and 11 kills or 11 deaths. But take a look at Mono's stats. 62 eliminations and only 8 deaths. So even though everyone on the side of France are just playing out of their minds, their counterparts are just playing that much better.
And that's really what it's coming down to, because I mean these games are being decided by just like a hair. They're so close to closing these out. And honestly, I think that if France hadn't kind of altered their style from the first dive, we might have seen Numbani go a different way. But instead, they wanted to try to surprise South Korea, not run the same dive on that attack on point A. They tried to bring out the Bastion, but they kind of just outthought themselves, and they put themselves in a state where they thought that this was going to work, but inevitably they just suffered for it.
I'm not a big fan when teams try to outthink themselves. They're thinking this, they're thinking that. Like, you're winning because your mechanics have been at the same level as France up into this moment. And even on a small micro level towards the end when Nox got off of the Winston, which was their bread and butter, which was keeping them in the game, to switch to the Orisa, I think it's something maybe they planned, that we like to run Orisa on third, but when you're playing as well as he is on a hero, you throw all that out the window and you just go with what's working.
I also do think that the story of this has been that South Korea, as good as they are not untouchable. They're not untouchable. But you know what is untouchable? T-Mobile. That's right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, somebody else can get booed for once.
Yeah, no, I relish. Although I am a bit more of a face commentator than Monty, the heel commentator. I embrace the boos here and there. That being said, though, guys, you can go out there and vote on the Twitch chat. You can go ahead and use !T-Mobile MVP battle tag there on Twitter, hashtag T-Mobile MVP, and then you use the battle tag there as well. It's getting close, so make sure you guys are out there voting now, because there's a lot on the line here. There's a beautiful trophy that these players are going to get. And by the way, I mean, you had pointed out before, so people should be voting for Flower, but apparently there was just like a confusion in the spelling of his name.
There are lots of numbers and letters floating about, but
Yeah.
I think they have tallied it pretty correctly right now. And I would imagine after that performance on Genji throughout both, and along with the Pharah play coming out from him on Oasis, he might be inching closer to XQC.
All right. So let's go ahead and wrap this up here and just get some thoughts, because Kilios, bring you in for this real fast. Can you see France take this game 3, given how close these matches have been so far?
You know, I think I'd be a fool to say, no, they can't take it. I mean, it depends on their mental state right now. Obviously, I'm not sure how they are after going down, after losing barely in those first 2 maps. But I think that they could bring this back. I think that they can make this a series. I said 3-1 for these guys. I think they could still pull it out right here.
I would tend to agree. I think the keys are stay away from maps which favor Widowmaker. We saw how Deadly Flower can be on Widow. You don't want any part of that. And go to maps in which you can have a Pharah v Pharah battle, because I think AKM and Flower were dueling it out and very even on that. It gives France the advantage.
And like I said before, the scoreline will fool you, because this matchup has been incredibly close. When we go to a break, or we're going to go to a break, when we come back, apologies there, we are going to have our next matchup. It's going to be exciting. Let's see if France can pull one out, or will South Korea punch their ticket to the finals. We'll catch you on the other side.
BlizzCon 2017 is brought to you in part by Republic of Gamers, Intel, T-Mobile, and NVIDIA.
Welcome back, guys, to the 2017 Overwatch World Cup. We are in the thick of it now. France versus South Korea in our second semifinal of the day, and South Korea is up 2-0 in the series, but Monte Cristo, it is a very, very close 2-0.
It is very close. Either of those maps could have gone to the French team had the cookie crumbled a bit differently, but fortunately for them, it has not so far, and they find themselves on the brink of heading to our bronze medal match.
Yeah, wouldn't want that.
And they have, interestingly, chosen Hanamura. Now, I thought they were going to choose Volskaya. Perhaps they don't want to play on a very Sombra-heavy map against the South Korean team.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, people may have forgotten Flower's Sombra play is quite good. And I'm not just talking about the very end of Nimbani. I'm saying in general, he's also a very good Sombra. I mean, he's good on everything, but if you watch some of Apex, he had a lot of good games on that hero.
Yeah, I do admit I'm a bit surprised though because of how much experience Team France has on that map, but
yeah,
going to be cooking up something different for us. And speaking of different, it will be mono on the Orisa. So Orisa Roadhog.
Yeah.
And what this combination does is pull people into the gate using the halt from Orisa and set them up for hooks. So as we see France attempt to poke through this doorway, they have to be very careful about the Orisa Roadhog combination.
Yep. France coming in now, and you're waiting for it. Yep, there it is. Yep, that is exactly what this is supposed to do. You grab him with the halt from Orisa, sets up an easy hook for Roadhog. Yeah, you gotta watch out for that.
Soon is patient behind enemy lines.
Sneaky Soon. Oh, gets found.
Well, they know he's back there. They saw him run in there.
You'd think so.
And they didn't see his death appear, so.
Sabiel and him are just gonna do a little 1v1. Oh, Sabiel coming down with the melee.
That was a nice little one clip there.
Yeah, wow, that was fast. Man, Nico forced to back away a little bit with that Orb of Discord. Holt not able to quite set up the kill for South Korea that time around. The hook missed as Nox jumped out. And France just kind of back to figure some things out. AKM gonna swap over to that Pharah.
Yeah, moving over from the Diva. So triple DPS composition from France. They want to provide as many damage angles as possible to punish the low mobility of the Orisa and the Roadhog.
Wow, Nox goes down early though. That's a rough start for France. Mano gets 2 actually on that Orisa. AKM manages to find Flower before he's rezzed, and so far nobody able to quite handle that Pharah just yet. They're kind of ignoring him for the moment. Why not?
Has to retreat over the rooftops, but cut down on the eaves of the gate.
Couldn't quite escape. Wynn's already dead to another hook from Zunba's Roadhog. And so far, France looking like they're having quite a tough time handling this comp.
And they are going to stick with the triple DPS though, waiting for some of these ultimates to come up. And soon on the very far side of the map, as we saw from our mini-map right there, Sabiel and soon playing Tracer versus Tracer flank battles.
Yep.
Neither of them will be really a part of this engagement.
Nico has that Discord orb on him, but maybe he's got a chance here. No! Jaehong was so ready for that one. Nico with no chance to set up the reflect, I guess. And South Korea holding strong for the moment. Couple ultimates to use. There goes the Bongo, the supercharger put down by Mano, but already South Korea pulling way ahead in this fight.
And that's going to be soon having to leave again, wait for the rest of his team. Unko will throw himself off the map and get that respawn going a little bit quicker.
Takes the death taxi back to the base, as we like to say.
The death cab, as it were.
Yep.
And Mercy's pretty cute.
Oh, there it is again! Halt, now come forward. Now die. It's beautiful. Zunba, 56% hook accuracy, but you think it'd be better since all of them are set up for him. Oh, there's a nice hook. Grabs Nox, and then immediately pulls out the whole hog. Wins falls yet again. And France really having a hard time getting in there. The barrage gets 2 for AKM. Oh, but Unko grabbed again. Another hook for Zunba. Takes a breather as he backs out and grabs a health pack as well. And South Korea, meanwhile, the rest of the team managing to find the picks to force France back.
They're going to find Nox up here too, and he's not going to be long. One hook missed there from Zunba.
Yeah.
And he's been doing great on this Roadhog so far. When we think about the players on this team, Sabiel is the one who's known for some fantastic Roadhog play, but Zunba delivering here in the semifinals.
That's right. Has to take another breather. Is France able to fill up quite a bit on the control meter here? Nearly 2 ticks already. Soon taking out Toby really helps him out quite a bit. Looks like France may be able to take point A. It's do or die time for here. Zunba just going to try to delay and use as much time as he can. Unko grab, stays alive. No, but not long enough as Jaehong comes back with the Sombra switch. France still, though, holding strong on this point. They've nearly got it. We're into OT. And South Korea will just kind of stall up for a little bit. But now, if France rushes fast enough, maybe they can get a little edge on point B.
And no ultimates, though, for Team France. They have to wait for that Valkyrie. They had to use the Transcendent, so it's not going to be a quick snowball here into the second point. And Flower going to be with that tac visor soon. Jaehong back onto the Zenyatta. The Sombra switch was just for the speed to get back to that point and hope for that full hold.
It was close. France able to take point A. A little over 3 minutes remaining to try to take this one. Mano just hanging out by the choke there. Nox gonna jump onto the high ground. Nico does take down Flower fairly early. Nox pretty low, he's gotta be careful, gets the heal at the end. There's the ult pop by Unko, trying to keep his team alive, and AKM battered away by Mano. Whoa, I can fly. It's amazing. You'd think you'd be getting too old for that. AKM running back in the door now, finding Flower. Has to back off though as the rest of his team kind of taking on the fight early, and Flower not gonna let him get away.
You know, for being an old guy, he sure has amazing knees.
He is, yeah.
Being able to stick that landing.
That's a voice line they forgot to put in there. Like, my knees. Oh wow. There's always we can always patch that in there.
Hey, look at this, dog. It's gonna be Flower. Hey, returning to the Widowmaker.
What do you know? A lot of ults on the side of France here too to work with. 3 out of 6 and a couple more on the way soon. No pun intended. But so, Flower, we'll see what he can get with this.
So typically, there are many Korean teams and also Envy, now known as the Dallas Fuel. When they know they're at an ult disadvantage, they will switch to the Widowmaker because they want to get a pick and reset their ult economy.
Yeah.
So this is, I think, a response to that. Because it's not...
Oh, there's one. Woo, soon taken down early. Flower backs away as he feels some pressure, but it's a great start already. France does jump onto the point here. South Korea needs to respond. Oh, and Nico actually setting it up for AKM to take down Flower with the rockets here. Gets back in the mech just in time. Toby brings back their team's Widowmaker, and AKM barely staying alive on that high ground. South Korea does force France back for the moment, but Jaehong has to use that Transcendence to stay up. Nico demeched right now, and AKM trying to get back to the point. Can't really get a whole lot done with that. Maybe, yes, he can kill Zunba. And so France certainly making South Korea feel it as they slowly get pushed back. They actually drew quite a bit of ultimates out of South Korea.
Yeah, they did, but look at what they had to use to remember. They came into that fight with a huge ultimate advantage, and they are exiting it with a disadvantage. As AKM explodes to save Yolbi's pulse bomb. That was just stuck to the side of Nico's mech. But look at what happened there, because South Korea responded well. They get the first pick thanks to the Widowmaker, and they know the tac visor's up. So AKM has to deal with the bubble, and Jaehong on the Zenyatta on the high ground, body blocking him during Transcendence, so he can't actually get an angle. It was a team effort between Mano and Jaehong, and that's one of the best ways you can deal with a tac visor. Just takes a lot of coordination.
Not bad. Well, speaking of tac visors, AKM's got another one loaded up now. France, having that being their only ultimate, soon will have another pulse bomb in the near future.
But still, they're being pushed off, and they're waiting so long to set this up. Where's the tac visor? The Valkyrie is up, so just scary for AKM. He had that angle locked off with a right click.
Yep, that's right. And AKM looking for a little bit more with those rockets. Wins. Oh, down early, actually. Sabielby finds a pretty crucial pick here, and France down to just about 10 seconds remaining. Flower gets a pick onto Unko, and this is bad news for France. Sabielby takes out AKM just as he pops the tac visor, and Nox, the rage may be fruitless in the end, and he is the last one to fall. Soon gets back on the payload just in time, but there's OT ticking away, and it looks like France will be denied that point B take. 48.6% is all they're going to get out of point B.
That was a lights out defense from South Korea as that round ended.
Yeah.
AKM never had a chance to use that tactical visor. He saw Mano coming up and slamming the shield down on the ground, and there was just too much trouble in the bubble ban for him to ever find an angle.
That's right. Trouble in the bubble.
There was so much trouble in that bubble. Diva, Sabielby there on Tracer.
Oh,
everybody just focusing him down, and we see some nice Orisa tracking highlights, courtesy of Mano.
Some of the best halts I think I've ever seen, but that strategy is so fun to watch, right?
It's hilarious.
Setting up those hooks for Roadhog. Try it on the ladder.
Please, try that with your friends.
That's right, try it with your friends. You can do it at home, in gold.
You can.
Yeah.
It makes it so easy to hit.
That's right. Anyone can do it.
No mechanics required.
Other teams hate him. Tip 4 will shock you. Actually, Winston will shock you, but other tips may shock you too. Well, South Korea, I'm still sorry, everyone. South Korea on the attack here now. And all they need to do is get a little over halfway on point B, and they will send themselves to the grand finals. Korea fans in the audience there.
And guess what, Doa?
What?
I think we're going to see some Flower on some Widowmaker. But he's hovering the Hanzo right now. He's switching up. Is he going to play the Hanzo instead? This may be for a few style points.
Might be one of those guys in the lobby that just does it to make people mad, and then he swaps to what he's going to play at the very end. You know those guys. Yeah, he's Bastion. All right.
Well, he's played Bastion before.
You know, it would not shock me. We'll see.
Having Bastion with a Winston would be a little odd, though, but
it would.
They are going to try it. So the unseen Bastion is the deadliest here.
And Jae-Hong throws out that Sonic Arrow. All right, they're going to swap back over. There we go. And here comes a Widowmaker.
So I'm not sure what they saw that made them make that decision. Now, soon, Clever,
he was
knowing
ready,
the
man.
Widow was going to be up there, and he will delay that positioning and own the high ground. He's also just going to waste a lot of Flower's time looking around for that sneaky little Tracer.
He's got him worried now. He's got him scared.
Yeah, Soon's actually on the point right now. He's not anywhere close to this. So.
Yeah. But look at that. The fear of Soon has been put into Flower here. Has to be careful. There's a grappling hook to get up high. Can he find any picks? Nox protected by that shield. Flower's still under a little bit of fire. Looking for those angles, has to back away. That McCree from AKM is just a little bit too scary.
France is so ready for this. The Orisa defense here, keeping everybody safe, and they have the McCree to at least match some of that long-range damage. Flower's gonna have to switch off. This is not going to work.
They made him swap. Pretty sick. Great job. And are you kidding me? He's going for the Bastion.
You just want to burst the shield and set it up. Mono is still hiding on top of that building.
I'm a stealthy ape. I mean scientist.
So here he comes. Now he's going to dive behind while they burst the shield with the Bastion.
Whoa, Mono coming in, gets stunned with the flashbang and taken down. A little bit over-eager. South Korea on the point right now, but they're going to be fighting a 5v6 here. Now it's a 4v6. AKM taking down Flower. Tough times for South Korea. Toby just trying to keep everybody up from behind the bell. Jae-Hong needs a little bit of healing, so he's going to back away here. France seems to be slowly grinding South Korea down, and yeah, they're going to have to back away. Not even getting a tick here on point A yet.
Yeah, they did switch off the Bastion over to the Genji, so not actually going to commit to that strat. I was too busy watching the positioning of Mono there.
Oh no.
And that is still going to be a failure of an offense. And here we go. It's Reinhardt Bastion time. South Korea mixing it up yet again.
Wow.
Keeping their looks fresh as they make this attack. And there we go. There's the burst down of the shield.
Yep, just taking that out. Very safe position for Flower to be in. That's a little bit less safe. You get the idea. Let's all try to watch Reinhardt without crying about that cinematic from yesterday.
I'll do my best, Doa.
That's right. It was really dusty in here yesterday. I don't know what it was. They got better filtration today, I guess. Yeah. Oh, Flower's still trying to make his way through the choke.
And these Orisa shields have such a short cooldown that this is somewhat of a Sisyphean effort.
I mean, even if you take point A at this point, they're not going to now. He gets stuck.
Great stick there by Soon.
Uh-oh, wow.
That was a nice
clutch shield.
That was a very nice shield flash right there on the right click.
Yeah, kept him safe from the self-destruct. France does have to back away. They've got the Transcendence now to try to keep people up, but they need to move forward, man. They need to do something here.
He's going to try and break that shield from inside.
All right, there you go.
Soon's still alive, though. He does get eliminated by Flower.
Don't underestimate the scout mode, man. Or recon mode.
And here we go. Here comes the tank, but AKM plinking away with that 6-shooter behind the shield. And this is just not going to be effective. Flower gets a little bit of damage down, but with the Mercy still up on France, they're not able to make any of that damage last.
I'm a bit surprised that we're seeing them stick to the Bastion for this long. They only have 30 seconds left. They need to make this work. They snuck Sabiel onto the point for just a moment.
It's a slow rotation around to the point right now. But this is a very good position for them to be. Now they are entrenched on the point, and France is going to have to fight them off.
Yeah, this is where you want to be if you're using that.
Soon got Toby, though. That is huge.
Yeah, knocks over on the Orisa now, too. They need to watch out for that Hulk. Nico brought back up again by Unko, and Jae-Hong barely alive. 7 HP. He's got to live. If his team, he can't. And France, they're just going to full hold. They will win Hanamura.
Soon played that map very, very well.
Oh, yeah.
The clutch plays onto the Bastion, hits the pulse bomb on the first attack, and then he takes out Toby, which spelled really the end of that assault from South Korea. And they are going to get a pretty convincing win there on Hanamura.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that was a full hold on point A. You don't see that happen very often. And I mean, yeah, you can say South Korea's comp was a little bit on the odd side, a little bit unorthodox, but France handled it really, really well. We're going to take a quick break again, guys, and when we come back, map number 4, don't miss it.
BlizzCon 2017 is brought to you in part by Republic of Gamers, Intel, T-Mobile, and NVIDIA.
Welcome back, guys, to the Overwatch World Cup semifinals. France taking a map off of South Korea, and that brings us to our 4th map of this match. It's going to be Gibraltar, and France with a little bit of momentum coming into this one. That was a pretty convincing win on Hanamura, wasn't it?
It was, but now we're back into Gibraltar. This is a map where South Korea was decisive against the USA. And a lot of that was due to Flower's amazing Widowmaker performance, but that was effectively neutralized by France in the last round. And South Korea tried a lot of different strategies, but it's always a balance in Overwatch when you're switching your heroes, because sometimes you have to do it because you need to try something new, surprise your opponent, or you need to have a better composition against theirs. But if you do it too much, you end up resetting your ult economy constantly.
Right.
And if the other team adapts well in terms of their tactics, if they're not changing their composition as we saw France do, it can lead to some pretty big advantages.
So here we go, South Korea in the white on attack, France in the blue on defense. South Korea with a little bit of a dive onto that high pathway, try to force people back, and Jaehong back on his favorite hero, Ana. Seen him do tons of good work with this hero in the past. Had to swap to Zenyatta over the last few months due to a bit of a shift in the meta. Okay, there's your healing. Be happy with it.
And Flower will be playing that Widowmaker. Everybody from France in the server room on the right-hand side of the cart now, so waiting for this payload to reach around the bend here, and then that's where they're going to start popping out. But they're not going to give any Widow angles. Oh, yes, they are.
I guess they are. AKM brought back up again right away, of course, though.
I cast her cursed AKM so hard right there.
You did, man. You did. Thank goodness Mercy can just bring him back up again. And South Korea backing off just a little bit. Jaehong gets a pretty nice biotic grenade in there. And South Korea forcing back into the server room. Nox does go down, and there we go. So France tries to be tricky, and in the end, only kind of end up bottling themselves up and making a shooting gallery for South Korea. That should be a pretty quick point A take.
I mean, that was a crossfire, and Nox decided to poke out and put his shield down to provide cover for AKM. But by doing that, it meant he wasn't going to be able to jump up onto the high ground to deal with Flower. And there we go, the split spawn takes place as some members of France find themselves in the forward spawn room, and they'll get a reward of a few more meters on this payload as a result.
You know, it's times like this in matches too where you need to be really careful if you're playing against South Korea, because this is about where they go Super Saiyan, right, man? I mean, this is where it's like, all right, we're going to just win now. Because we talked earlier about the beginning of this map. It seems like as a match goes on, the further you get in it, the stronger South Korea looks.
Yeah, and especially when they have their own map selection as well.
Very much. Very true. And they only need to win this one to go to the finals. And that payload getting closer and closer to the end of point B here. France managing to split up South Korea a little bit here. Flower trying to find those picks like we saw him find yesterday, but so far not so good. And he's going to have to back away.
Finally pushed off that high ground and waiting for his opponents to respawn. But
yeah,
as you say, Doa, we have seen reverse sweeps at this Overwatch World Cup. But the thing about reverse sweeping in Overwatch is that you have to play on all of your opponent's map selections, which makes it just a big mountain to climb.
Yeah, it's extra hard, extra impressive when it happens. Sabielby gets on the payload, gets it moving again. And they've got an eye on where everybody is yet because of that Widowmaker ultimate. Sabielby comes back. Fairly quiet overall right now. Just a little bit of fire being traded. There's the pulse bomb. No kills from that for Sabielby though.
Immediately has to get out due to the Orb of Discord. The tanks have been stuck in this doorway, so Sabielby didn't have any cover for this fight. And
whoa, Zumba gets 2 with his self-destruct though. Can't re-mech again. Nico finds that kill, but that's gonna be the ticket maybe for South Korea to move this payload forward. You think. Yeah, Wynn's a little bit on his own right now. I have much respect for Zenyatta, but that's a situation that even the most powerful RoboMonk can't get out of.
There we go. Cleaned up one by one now as finally they push through. And I don't think France is really going to have another opportunity to make a defense here. We'll see how fast they can get back to this card.
You know, the crucial thing is that South Korea was able to get it this far, and they are stalled out a little bit before the payload. Soon taking a nap,
nice
though.
Sleep dart.
Yeah, that's right. Unko taken down as well. There we go, and that should get them to the end of point B. Soon as Nox taken down. And so, again, you know, if you look up at the ults for South Korea, they're going to have quite a bit available. They move through this phase slower than you normally see teams do it, but they did that because they wanted to save as many ultimates as they could.
And also, it was because they had such a fast early stage, they still end up with nearly 4 minutes remaining.
Oh yeah, they got plenty of time right now.
They are certainly in a good place. AKM is going to take the Widow battle, so here we go.
That is a bold move, man, taking the Widowmaker 1v1 against Flower.
He gets the ult up first, so everybody going to be very scared about peeking around those corners, and that Sabielby hitting them with a pulse bomb on the flank. He knew they were cowering due to the Widowmaker ultimate, and so gets them while they're distracted.
That's the scary thing, man. People forget Sabielby's lurking back there, and there he is coming around the side. 6-stick onto Unko, and Unko's just going to be like, well, sorry, AKM.
Nothing you can do about that one.
I can't move very quickly. All right, payload has halted. Is South Korea, well, I guess now they're moving again. Setting things up for the last battle against France here. A lot of time remaining. AKM going down very early. Sabielby just hunting him down, saying, you're not even going to get that Widow 1v1. Unko does bring AKM back up again, and Jaehong, ooh, that was a close one, man. He managed to avoid that self-destruct,
He thought about being greedy and looking for that scope shot. He decided better of it.
Can't blame the guy. Oh, sleep dart? Nope, not quite. That would've been sick. Flower stays alive right now. Nox just hanging out on top.
They have to get onto this payload, though. It's still moving. Finally, it's contested, but it is at the very end.
Yeah, it's really close. Just under 5 meters remaining. Zunba just got demeched by the pulse bomb.
Both supports of France are dead, though. They have no more healing.
That's a big problem. Nico popped out of the mech, and that may be it. AKM falls immediately on that Sombra, and South Korea finishes Gibraltar with just over 2 minutes in the time bank. Great attack round for them.
Yeah, pretty good time left over. They made things look smooth towards the end after like you said, getting held up for a while.
Yeah, a little bit.
Before point B in that hangar phase, but AKM just not able to do anything from the Widowmaker, and not because he was losing the duel, but because Sabielby was stuck to him like glue.
There never got to be a duel. He never even got to take a look at Flower on the other side of the map. Sabielby just kept finding him in the back lines. And so France, you know, with a bit of a mountain to climb, you know, we talked about the reverse sweep. They, of course, have to win that map to keep it going. But they're facing against a team that finished their attack round with 2 minutes to spare, and Gibraltar is one of those maps that you don't see finish quite as much as some other ones.
No, you don't. And it's like We are going to see Flower on that Soldier 76 on the defense.
Okay.
For South Korea, pretty typical. And sometimes we do see Ana if you decide to play very far back and play the high ground right above point A. But this time, Jae Hong wants to play a little bit further forward. So I think they will pick the Zenyatta as a result.
This is it, man. This is it for France. This is it for this group of 6 players that have put together such an epic run throughout the early history of Overwatch here. You know, times change, and as we look towards the Overwatch League, you know, these guys aren't all going to be playing together again really after this match.
And some of them are unfortunately not going to be participating in at least the first part of the Overwatch League.
Yeah.
And it seems a shame. Nox and AKM, certainly skilled players.
Well, all
and
of
wins
these guys,
as well.
all these guys, absolutely worthy to be on an Owl team, no doubt about that.
It is odd that we only have Unko and Soon competing, but I think with this kind of performance, these guys will find a home in the long run.
I don't think that's going to last forever. Here we go. France on the attack now, trying to equalize South Korea with 3 points on Gibraltar. AKM, their shoulder present.
So AKM come back with the biotic field right now, try and punish the aggression of the tanks, but Sebyolbi doing work on the DPS, trying to deal with Soon, and he will. Flower comes from the opposite side with a Helix rocket.
Yep, that's right. So South Korea holding for the moment. France stalled out already. AKM brought back up again by Unko. And Nox is going to try to come over the top here. Mano has to flee, and he's just trying to get South Korea off the payload. They just want to move it forward a little bit.
Yeah, very aggressive defense from South Korea, though, fighting them right outside of the gates, and it is working. Sebyolbi doing work, helping to take out AKM one more time, and Mano continuing to pile up the bodies.
Soon on his own in the end. Not able to get a lot done in the back line, and South Korea will continue to hold. And they're starting to build up the ultimates too. Jae Hong and Mano very close to theirs. Flower, Toby, Sebyolbi already have them available.
Looking good. So the reset back into some of these high ground rooms, and he's actually going to find Soon there.
Yeah.
Pulse bomb dropped by Soon, but not able to actually hit the monkey.
Wow, Flower comes down. Can't get anything with that tack visor though, but he does have France a little bit flanked here. That's going to be a problem. Transcendence comes out for the side of France just to try to keep people alive as they push the payload forward, but Flower just completely unopposed for the moment in the back lines.
And that, unfortunately for France, that Transcendence didn't do much because of how fast the South Korean team backed out and then waited for it to be over before the re-engage. So
Mano
still struggling here to push this card very far.
Mano down to 30 health in that fight before he gets brought back up again. Nox, though, the monkey to fall here as France tries to push this payload forward. South Korea is making them fight for every single inch.
This is not going well for France. They've lost so much time already.
Not a lot, yeah, and only about 1:40 left in the clock for these guys.
It's going to take an offensive reset here for France to even come back.
Yeah.
And they don't have very many tools. AKM on the Widowmaker trying to duplicate some of these performances that we've seen from players like Flower on Gibraltar in this tournament.
All right, you know, France too in this last attack, I mean, they just kept staying in after they really should have fell back and regrouped, and that caused a bit of a split spawn, that caused a bit of a staggering in when they had everybody available again, cost them even more time, and now they just have 1 minute left to try to finish point A and keep their tournament alive.
And they're pretty far away on some of these ults as well, so they're not going to have the easiest time. You know, do you poke here and try and get your support ults up via the healing? Flower says no. I am going to tack visor and mow down everybody on Team France.
And Jae Hong with 0 deaths on this round so far, goes after Soon, looking for that 1v1. Trying to fight that duel, knows he's probably coming to the stairs. They need him back though.
So here's the tack visor. Flower's just gonna drop down onto the low ground. Finds Wins outside of the Winston bubble, and the Winston bubble dies very quickly to the focus fire, and piling on through and becoming that spear, those blockers that you need to get an efficient ult off. D.Va with the defense matrix protecting the tack visoring Soldier 76.
25 seconds left in the clock. France's tournament on the line. They'd still go to the bronze match, even if they lose this one. And it's kind of starting to look that way as they're down to just their final 10 seconds. South Korea with a lot of ults to work with. Mano comes in. He's got that Primal Rage. AKM already a little bit low here. And this is it. They got to get on the payload. Flower pops Nico out of the mech to start things off with. There's a Transcendence from France, but they need more. Unco manages to actually kill Flower. And Flower brought back up immediately, though. Meanwhile, Mano in the server room. That payload still moving. It's nearly there. And France, are they getting the kills they need? They just might be here.
But here's the tack visor. Oh. Flower is back on the high ground. He's going to de-suit.
Yeah, Nico's out. But they can't do it, and France does take point A. They are still alive.
As the strafe with that tactical visor, not enough to actually stop them from pushing that cart. And so they use their ultimate. South Korea basically resets everything on their side of the board. But France will have another lease on life here for 2 minutes.
Yep. So now France really needs to rush. They need to get the payload through this phase as fast as they can. Generally, it is pretty quick here, but South Korea knows anytime they can burn off the payload here is really valuable.
Now, they've already done a fantastic job of that, so.
Yep.
Flower again, just trying to make sure he is the king of the shuttle phase on top of the bridges and getting the proper angles.
Yep.
AKM pressured in the back, will be revived.
Yeah, brought back up again. It's a brawl now. People falling on both sides. AKM taken down again by Sabielby, who's been so elusive in the back lines. That payload has been stopped hard. Another Transcendence comes out from Wins, though, and it's going to propel them towards a possible point B take. We'll see how long Zunba can delay this here.
Yeah, Transcendence was forced out by Sabielby's Pulse Bomb, which is a great trade to make if you are a Tracer player.
Yep.
May not be enough, though, to push them forward. That's a very nice flashbang to stop the monkey.
Yeah, but they only stopped him for just a moment here. AKM, meanwhile, unstopped up on the high ground, finding targets with that tack visor, but Sabielby comes in again. He has been the bane of AKM all match long, and South Korea slowly pulling ahead in this fight as France once again running out of time.
Toby with the Valkyrie, too. They should be able to outlast with this support ultimate. Zumba going to be remeching pretty soon. Nox will fall, and so will Unco in the back line. So France here has one last attack on point B. They have to make it work soon. Needs to find somebody with this pulse bomb. Sabielby in a similar position. Who's going to have the better bomb here? It might determine who's going to win this fight.
It's one pulse bomb to one pulse bomb. Soon trying to be sneaky. There's a duel. Whoever wins this could win it for their team. Soon grabs the health pack, make sure it's not available. Waiting for Sabielby to come back. South Korea in position. They're going to send the monkey up there.
That was eaten.
They're going to send the tanks up there. That's right. The pulse bomb did nothing for Soon. South Korea, meanwhile, Sabielby still has his, but the payload is moving. South Korea's got to get back on here too, but Soon gets a couple, and he's escorting the payload. He's doing it all right now, and South Korea can't stop him.
Of this tournament sneaks his way around after his pulse bomb gets eaten by the Zunba defense matrix, and he realizes he can't kill these tanks, so instead he just zips over to the objective and forces the South Korean re-engagement. Beautiful decision-making by Soon.
No kidding. Single-handedly keeping France alive here in this match. And now he's back at it, getting in the back lines again, being annoying, and always being there to sneak that payload if he needs to. Apparently it's high noon. Flower looking for targets with the Deadeye. Self-destruct does catch AKM. We'll see if they bring him back. They can. Soon taken down by Nico, though. Unco coming back in pretty far away from the ultimate, now far away from the fight as he's taken down. South Korea pulling ahead yet again here. Nox falls, and we're down to another 30-second scenario for France.
They do have some stalling power, though, Doa. They have the Primal Ridge, so they might be able to push this cart a little bit further. They've got control over it right now.
Oh, they need to push that thing. They need to get back on that court. They cannot. Oh, pulse bomb onto Flower. Soon finds a big pick here, and the payload is still moving, 15%. And South Korea, they've got the Primal Rage, but this is it. They need to stop France here.
Yes, they do. So everybody recollecting now from South Korea. They have a Winston shield to play behind and work with to at least get out of the spawn doors. Flower now on the Reaper.
Here comes the self-destruct. Flower waits it out, gets around the corner just in time. AKM rockets down Zimba, and South Korea, they've got the respawns, but they're being forced away. Saviovi takes out AKM with
There's
the
the res onto Flower.
Yeah, Toby trying to keep people alive as much as he can anyway. Nico demeched, and France in some trouble. Here comes the Transcendence from Jaehong. South Korea standing strong for the moment. They've got both support ultimates going. There's the self-destruct coming in now from Zumba, and Flower takes down Wins. That is a big kill to get rid of that support. OT ticking away, and AKM on his own, taken down, and that could be it. South Korea will go to the grand finals.
And they will have a shot, Doha, at another gold medal in the Overwatch World Cup this year. And France still can play for that bronze medal in the match and have a chance to redeem themselves from this one and really prove that they are a fantastic team, and they have been all year.
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, all of those players really deserving of being in all teams. I'm sure we're going to see them again here. We're going to see them again in the Browns match very soon. We're going to throw it to a quick break, guys, and when we come back, the desk will break down that epic semifinal match. Don't go anywhere.
BlizzCon 2017 is brought to you in part by Republic of Gamers, Intel, T-Mobile, and NVIDIA.
Welcome back, everyone, to the post game here for South Korea versus France, and what a game it was, down to the wire. Some miraculous plays across the board, really, whether you're talking about France's Soon or Flower from South Korea. It was a joy to watch, but there can only be one winner. That winner on this day was South Korea. They will be punching their ticket to the grand finals, where they will face off against Canada to determine our 2017 Overwatch World Cup champion. Gentlemen, here at the desk, there's so much to talk about here, so little time to do so. But James, you know, the South Korean team, everyone feared them. Everyone feared them going into this event. That being said, I think if it bleeds, you can kill it, right? I hate to be so brooding here, but it's clear that South Korea are not untouchable.
Exactly. I mean, we were shown that yesterday in that South Korea versus USA match. And even today, I would say it was a very similar performance where it looked like France just rose to the occasion. But unfortunately, you know, South Korea just played a slight level above them so far. And honestly, everyone across the board were playing out of their minds once again.
It really was on a razor's edge, and I know that we both predicted a 3-1 victory here for South Korea, but I honestly wish that it had gone to that Game 5, because I wanted to see more of these two teams going up against each other, much like we saw from South Korea versus Team USA. It was just so close, every game on a razor's edge, and I just wanted more of that Overwatch Action to come out, and then maybe CF Team France actually could have pulled it off. They looked phenomenal in this series. They do have the bronze match to look forward to coming up next, so hopefully they can kind of redeem themselves, as Monte Cristo put it, and have a nice send-off for this roster who's been playing together as a squad of 6 for so very long.
This is a storied team here, formerly known as Rogue, coming together to represent their country, the 6 best players you could possibly ask for to represent France. And one thing I will say, though, is that I feel as if we talk a lot about the French roster and like how they managed to like overcome and fight this off. This could have been a 3-0 in favor of France, James.
This really could have.
Like this could have been a 3-0.
Oasis just came down once again to the wire.
Yeah.
I mean, it was going back and forth. It was just, I don't even know who was showing up the most from France at that point. I mean, AKM was going off on that Pharah. We had Nox going toe-to-toe up against Mono on the Winston. There were times where he was winning out that battle, you know, and Soon was playing out of his mind on that Tracer. It was just, once again, Korea somehow playing just a slight level above, and that was a very slight level.
You know what else is out of my mind? T-Mobile. That's right. It's one more. We got a couple more, guys. We got a couple more. Guys, go ahead and use the command T-Mobile MVP in the battle tag in the Twitch chat, and then also use the hashtag T-Mobile MVP and then the battle tag. It's getting ridiculous at this point. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm really sorry. But let's take a glance at the leaderboard here, see where we are. Has there been any changes? XQC. Oh!
So, yeah, Flower.
Okay, we're having it's a game here.
Yeah, he's actually catching up pretty considerably here, and it's going to come down to the wire. We have one Korean player, one Team Canada, so that grand final really could end up deciding who is going to be the MVP.
Wow.
So this is getting more and more exciting as it goes on. So keep just nailing those plugs.
That's right, and you don't have long to do so, people, because after the bronze medal match, that's it. Voting's over. So you got to go out there. And it seems like the runner or the front runners are XQC and Flower. So good news is that's going to be our gold medal match as Canada faces off against South Korea in the grand finals here at the 2017 Overwatch World Cup. That being said, first, we got to determine who will be the bronze finisher, who will take home third place. It's going to be Sweden facing off against France. Don't go anywhere. Plenty more Overwatch action coming at you in just a few.